It will give you eyes, give you hope, it'll give you perspective. Oh, there are stories to tell, the times we grew and the times we fell. Oh, I've been afraid some days, but the road will lead us to a better place. Road will lead us to a better place.
My Valley Home with Rachel MacLean is made possible through the generous support of our sponsors, including Deacon Financial Management Group of Scotia Wealth Management.
So as you can see, we're just outside of Avonport, kind of up on the mountain, and heading into down the valley, as we call it, down the valley. And this is the place, this is the spot where when you see this, for most people that I talk to, when you see this, you know you're home. Even my own grandfather, he passed away before I was born, but my dad had the story about, after he found out, he got his diagnosis and knew that it wouldn't be that long that he would have left, and they were coming down, and he said, I just want to see that view one more time before I'm gone from this earth. So I thought that was pretty special, and I can see why. So a really nice part of the View Park are these panels. They give you lots of information, natural history, geology, fossils, beautiful places that hopefully we're going to be visiting. And we have New England planters, other settlers, along with the Acadians and the Mi'kmaq. And if you're familiar at all with their culture, you will recognize the name Glooscap.
Long ago, the giant Glooscap was created from 3 bolts of lightning set forth by the Great Spirit. Making his home in Cape Blomidon, Glooscap set about and created all the animals and birds, including beaver and whale. One day, Beaver built a dam at the mouth of the Bay of Fundy. When Whale realized that he could no longer swim in the bay, he became upset and smashed the dam with his mighty tail. This created swells of water so massive that they continue today along the Bay of Fundy, resulting in the highest tides in the world.
So we're going to head off, go to Acadia to find out what makes that. And I think we'll go to the beach, we'll do some hiking, and we're just going to really explore and investigate all these places that we love so much. Oh, and we're in beautiful little Wolfville, sweet university town. I love the historic element as well. A lot of the homes as you travel up each little street. They've incorporated those homes into, what Acadia utilizes for their offices and such. So we're going to pull in here to go see Dr. Mo. There we go, up to the Science Center, Acadia. And they will give us a really good rundown of all things geology. So thank you, Mo, for having us here and, explaining to us some of the questions, especially that I have. I spent a lot of my time growing up outside of Digby Neck, Margarettsville. It's very rocky. The water's really clear, not so much mud. And then I'm here, Minas Basin is very muddy. So what is that about?
So the type of rocks that you have over near Digby are very different from what you have surrounding the the Minas Basin. And so, and also because the Minas Basin is an enclosed space, it accumulates a lot of sediment. So it's actually the shape of that basin that's accumulating a lot of that mud. So not only is the rock type different, but the sediment availability is different, which allows you to accumulate all that stuff and have a different type of coastline.
So another question is, why is the valley a valley?
That's a great question. So when you're in the valley, people always refer to the North Mountain and the South Mountain. And so the North Mountain is made of things like basalt, which are lava flows. And then the South Mountain are made of larger crystalled igneous rocks, so granites. And then, so those two rock types are really strong. So even because of water, wind, ice, they don't break down as easily as what's in the middle. So what's in the middle of the valley are things like sandstone and siltstone, and they're rocks that have really big pores. And so water can get in there and then weather the rocks and break them down. And so that's why you have these two highs and a big low in the middle.
Okay, I didn't realize. That's really neat. We have some rocks here behind us, and just wonder if you want to kind of explain maybe a little bit about some of this.
Sure. So I guess in the valley you have rocks that range from being 490 million years old to being 190 million years old. So you have 300 million years of time just in the valley. And so some of these rocks are from the valley specifically, so things like limestones, which are deposited in like a marine environment, and then gypsum, which this comes from the gypsum quarry near Windsor, and it also is from a place where there's lots of evaporation, because when these rocks were deposited, it was in a really shallow water where it was really hot and lots of evaporation.
Oh, wow.
But you also have older rocks, so you have things from the Cambrian and Ordovician where you have really amazing fossils, things that were the very first animals that existed on Earth. You can find in the valley as well.
Wow.
But none of them are actually from Blomidon itself, so why don't we go check it out together?
I would love that. Yes. Yes. We're just coming into Canning now, and I thought it would be sort of nice, if you want to, we could stop maybe at one of the little coffee shops in town.
Sounds great.
Thanks so much.
What are you guys up to today?
Oh boy, Blomidon Beach, Blomidon Park. Yeah. Hiking. Gorgeous. Thank you. And thank you.
You're welcome.
So I'm noticing, do you see like the layer here of that lighter rock mixed in, but it's quite an obvious layer. What is that about? Like what?
Yeah, so these rocks were deposited in lakes and rivers mostly. So a lot of the time the sediment that's being laid down is underwater, but sometimes it's above water. So you have a soil horizon, and then you have underwater material. And then after years you get different layers of different material being stacked on top of each other. So that's what all of those layers are. They're beds through time. Wow, which is really cool. Usually when you're at a beach, like a lot of the time the stuff that's on the beach is made of the same stuff as the cliff beside it, but this is not. So this is volcanic rock that's coming from the North Mountain versus this is the material that underlies it. So this is actually younger than these rocks here, which is kind of interesting. It'd be interesting to see how much the cliff has receded just in the past few years, because those trees are still green, like they're still living.
They're still living, yeah.
Yeah, this is a widowmaker for sure. so like something like this is quite cool because there's a difference between saltwater and freshwater. That's one of the things we look at when we look at the rocks to see what type of environment they were deposited in. If you can find evidence of like spores or pollen or other fossil plant or microbes or something to help you determine what type of environment it would have been deposited in.
Very interesting. I find that really neat.
Yeah, so that's how we know that these rocks are deposited in a lake or a river, because the organisms in them would have been on land versus being in a marine environment.
It seems like such common sense, but I mean, come on,
But
it's hard
unless you think
like,
about
yeah,
it.
unless you really know that that's actually, because I always have wondered, how on earth did you first begin to know? So that makes complete sense.
So barnacles are like one of my very favorite animals in the whole world. So barnacles are actually closely related to like crabs. As juveniles, they like swim around and then they head plant into a rock and then they cement themselves there. And when they open up, it's their legs that come out, which is super cool. So they just, face plant into the rock and then they spend the rest of their lives there.
Oh, this was beautiful. Thank you. Really appreciate this. Nice of you to show us all the things I always want to know and don't have anybody to tell me. I have my very own personal specialist who comes, rock specialist who comes out.
Every time you go to the beach, just call me.
I'll just call you. Thank you. No, you're wonderful and we really appreciate it. It was fun, a lot of fun. So we were at the beach and we're now up in this beautiful location. This is just incredible. Oh my goodness, we're so lucky. So lucky to live here and to get to see this. Wow. We're gonna go see Soren and then he'll take us on a little walk. And I actually think that I see him now. So we're gonna go over and say hi. Soren.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Rachel.
Nice
Hi.
to meet you.
Good to meet you.
Nice to meet
Good to
you.
meet you.
Happy to spend some time with you
Yes.
today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
so-
this is such a
Oh,
phenomenal spot to meet and talk about
it is.
nature and whatnot.
It is. I can't wait.
In order to show you what this whole landscape used to be like, that we'll walk along the Jodrey Trail because it, to me, epitomizes what this whole area used to be like.
Oh, that sounds good.
Good.
Let's get at it.
Yes, perfect.
So would you say that Nova Scotia forests like this one would be unique in the world, or can you really experience a lot of the same features in many other forests across the world?
It's like a rainbow. Like if you take white light, you can break it into a rainbow, right? And where does the blue end and the green start, or the yellow start and the red start, right? It all flows together. So it's an artificial designation of what the forest is like, because it all flows together. This here is hazelnut. Like if you eat hazelnuts, comes from this tree.
I did not know
Yeah.
that.
Like not it, like in the wild, like hazelnuts are now grown on
Yes.
like commercial
farms and things, yeah.
whatever. So this is a beech tree. Beech trees used to be a size like gigantic, and they were quite dominant in the Acadian deciduous forest before Europeans. But now all they manage to do is to get to about that stage, and then they die. This is just a little guy, but this is a red spruce. And red spruce is the tree that kind of defines the Acadian forest.
So obviously we notice as we're quiet, I don't hear a car
No.
or a truck, backfire, nothing.
Right. Yeah, no anthropogenic sounds except our own voices.
I just think so many people, it's not that they don't want to be in nature, it's that
No,
they
no,
forget to be
They
in nature.
forget, yeah. So Suzanne Simard is a forester, and she is the one who discovered that trees communicate with each other through fungal networks. So a big tree will give nutrients to a small tree. And And we would think, well, yeah, if it to its offspring, you know, that makes sense. But no, they give nutrients to all the trees in the area, not just the same species and not just its own offspring, but to all the trees. So this here is a vernal pond. Vernal ponds are areas where there's water in the spring and then it dries out. And when we came in here, there were lots of tadpoles in the water, and there were fairy shrimp, which are these tiny little shrimp-like organisms swimming around. And there were salamander eggs by the hundreds. But look at it now. Yeah, it's just so neat, like that there were lots of other little invertebrates swimming around, and now gone. And they'll be here again next year.
That's so fascinating how they know.
Yeah, so here,
Wow.
here we get to look out over the Minas Basin. Look at that.
Oh.
Spectacular, isn't it?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's just a massive amount of water.
We get so
Every day,
used to it that we
back and
forget
forth and
how
back and
incredible
forth.
it is.
Yeah.
Like we get here, when you live here, you sort of take it for granted that it just happens.
Yeah, it's just part of, yeah.
Well, thank you.
Oh, you're most
Thank you
welcome.
for today. This
Yeah.
is beautiful. I haven't felt this way in a long time.
Good.
So I do appreciate this.
Yeah, well, you're most welcome.
Thank you.
Most welcome.
So thank you, Sean, for coming and being willing to show us this and let us have some fun too.
I sure hope so. I sure hope so. We'll get you rolling out the next one. I'll show you the size we want to get.
Good.
So what we're going to roll out here is just a little sweet potato wrap, and it's a really easy thing to do. All the ingredients are flour, sweet potato. I have a tiny bit of oil and salt and pepper there. So very, very simple. Something that ingredients you can bring with you on a camping trip and just get a little wow factor out of people, because it's not something you normally see done with a fire.
So you could probably cook your sweet potato first before leaving, maybe?
Right.
Is it just mashed, obviously?
Right, it is, yeah.
You don't puree it or anything, like you just mash
No,
it?
I just mashed it right in the bowl with the flour, yeah.
Oh, good.
And that's
I like
what we're
it.
looking for right there.
Oh,
And we'll
nice
just set
and
that.
thin.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're gonna set that one on this plate. And then would you like to make an attempt at that?
And it's just regular all-purpose?
That is, yeah. Perfect. Look at
Think.
that. Nice
That
and
one's the
round.
nice-
You
that's
did a
one-
great
the
job.
nicest
Yeah.
one.
Look at that.
Nice. Those are beautiful, actually. They're really
And
soft. Like, they're really nice and
simple
soft.
to make. So simple to make. And we're just a little whisker shy of being able to put in too, so we won't rush it. And that's the other thing, is don't crowd yourself. Take time to make the food.
Yeah.
Food sometimes is just about taking a little bit more time. It doesn't have to be difficult, but then you get something that's beautiful.
That's beautiful. I think these are very beautiful.
So now we're gonna bread our fish. So this is just a basic breading station. We have flour, and I seasoned it a little bit with some onion powder and garlic just because I like a little more flavor in there. Just a beaten egg and breadcrumbs. And these have a little bit of seasoning in them as well, but you can buy plain or whatever you want, or you can put whatever spices you like in there. If you wanna make it hot, you could add a little cayenne to it. This one here, we're just gonna throw these all right in here. And where we're having them in our wraps, I just kind of cut the fish a little bit longer and skinnier so we can put like 2 pieces in there.
It's nice to do things that you love to do in life.
Yeah, and as long as you have fresh product, it doesn't have to be difficult.
And in the Annapolis Valley, we are pretty blessed,
Oh,
right?
We sure are.
With the amount of fresh produce we have access to. Yeah, there's something very satisfying about making your own food and having it out here. How many minutes would you say on each side?
We're looking probably 6 minutes per side. They're a little less.
Oh, those look beautiful.
All right, so I think it's time that we get some people some snacks around
I think
here.
so too.
So we're just gonna take a little lettuce in first, a little bit of our fresh fish.
Beautiful.
A little bit of salsa.
Oh my goodness, that looks so good. And what kind of salsa is
So this is just a fresh berry salsa, so mostly this is strawberry, but you could use other berries in it as well. Lots of cilantro, a few fresh herbs from my garden, avocado, tiny bit of red onion. I always go less on the red onion because I don't want to overpower the berries. A bit of balsamic vinegar, a little bit of honey.
Wow.
And then this is a little cilantro avocado, just for a little top. And then maybe we'll throw a couple little cherry tomatoes in there. Perfect.
That is a beautiful.
Little summer.
That is absolutely beautiful.
A few elements, very simple though. Smells good.
Looks even better.
Well, hopefully you can sit down and enjoy one in a second.
Oh, I will. Oh, I will. Absolutely. So it's really nice to get to sit back in front of this fire tonight and enjoy some of the warmth. It has gotten a little bit chilly, but we all had such a great day. Mo on the beach, Soren for the nature walk, and of course ending with Sean tonight. And his culinary skills are just tremendous, and it was so much fun. So we've had a big day, a really big day. I am so happy to be rediscovering what's in my own backyard. I think that we are so lucky to live where we do. I think that all the people I'm going to get to meet this summer, it's just going to be so much fun. That's my favorite part. I love to connect with people. And we are going to enjoy lots of events, lots of really fun things. And you know, it's nice to be connecting with people who are from this area and who love the valley as much as I do, because this is my home.
Coming up this season on My Valley Home.
It's kind of nice to have brought everybody and we can all enjoy it. We can all go and see what there's to do. Do you want to take a run with me in through the house and in through the shop?
Yeah.
Can we do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's so many cool things happening. I always say it's not hard to say good things about this place.
I think the tide is coming up, so let's leave before the boats get here.
Oh. He's just smiling now. He won't get mad at you now.
Whoops. Here, give me that.
Thank you. I was trying to salvage that.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody
You
will
okay?
ever. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody will ever.
No,
know.
it's the roots.
Yeah. Well, I was scared to death I was gonna
Oh,
drop
you dropped
that.
that.
So I let myself go.
Yes.
Protect the camera at all costs,
Right.
Chef. Protect the camera at all costs.